Last week in a therapy session, a man confronted his wife with a challenge he's been facing. I've been having trouble with the pattern of you coming home later than you say you'll be home. It's really hard to keep dinner and the kids handled when I don't know if I can count on you to be home. I really feel overlooked and underappreciated. Does this sound familiar? If so, it's because it's an example of a common rupture. One person promises something and then doesn't deliver. Rupture. And if it happens repeatedly, this can lead to a loss of connection, trust, and even a sense of emotional safety. Does that track for you? In my work as a trauma therapist, I've seen that it's not the absence of rupture, or what you might call conflict, that defines a strong relationship. It's the presence of effective repair. The key is to move towards repair, not away, in a predictable manner, to have a guide for how to go from rupture back to repair. And it's not quickly saying sorry, but instead showing you're sorry. How? Well, through attuned engagement and active listening. Those are two key components of any healthy repair. Let's go deeper. I'm going to share 3 steps to a healthy repair inspired by Dr. Harriet Lerner's work on true apologies. Step 1, acknowledge the hurt. Name what happened from the other person's perspective without minimizing, explaining, or defending. To do this, you have to attune to their perspective. From the example I shared earlier, let me review again what the man said. He said, I've been having trouble with the pattern of you coming home later than you say you'll be home. It's hard to time dinner and to keep the kids handled when I don't know if I can count on you to be home. I feel really overlooked and unappreciated. Oof. Very easy to start to defend yourself, right? But instead, you're going to acknowledge your partner's hurt with an attuned response. It might sound something like this. Okay, so when I tell you I'm going to be home at 6 p.m. and then I come home much later, you feel overlooked and underappreciated. Kind of like your time doesn't matter as much as mine, huh? Did I get it? Step 2, take full responsibility. Own your impact. Do not justify your intentions. So the man might respond to that with, yeah, that's it, exactly. And I know you're super busy at work. I get it. I just need to know I can count on you. It does feel like my time is less valuable than yours sometimes because you do this about 2 times a week. So the wife is going to stay with that attuned engagement and active listening. So she might take responsibility with something like, yeah, that's not fair to you. No wonder you feel like your time's not as valuable. You deserve my help with the kids, and I do this at least twice a week. You deserve better. Now, step 3, show your commitment to change. Let your actions, not just your words, demonstrate you care. So the man might respond to you taking responsibility with something like, yeah, I just want to hear your thoughts on how we can change this dynamic. I need something to change. The wife will demonstrate her commitment to change and acknowledge the repair once again. It might sound something like, going forward, I'll commit to calling or texting as soon as possible. Honey, I might not be able to control disruptions in my timing, but I can absolutely take responsibility for letting you know of those changes. It's really important to me that you feel like you can count on me. I know that means a lot to both of us. How does that sound to you? And finally, the man just might close it out with a gracious receipt of her acknowledgement with something like, I appreciate you hearing me out and offering changes. I'd really like to see those come into play. Repair isn't about being perfect. It's about being open to listen, to understand, not reply, and to be willing to be changed by what you hear. You guys notice the wife didn't explain herself. She didn't defend herself. She didn't dismiss or deny. She stayed with her husband's perspective, extended his reasoning. Later, if she needs to, she can say, hey, can I share my perspective with you? Absolutely. And then he can hold that attuned gaze while she shares her perspective. But in this example, she didn't feel the need. His perspective was understandable because she acknowledged, I do come home late without calling or texting. Repair means showing you're sorry, not saying you're sorry. Did you get the sense that the wife was indeed apologetic or sorry in that exchange? If so, please note she never said she was sorry. She showed she was sorry. Every time we repair, we aren't just healing the moment, we're building a relationship that can withstand the inevitable ruptures of life.